I'm doing my show now.
Hey, Brian, how are you? I'm glad you're here. We were just saying how much we missed you last week, and
Hey everybody, no music tonight, but I just want to let you know I'm not feeling that good. I got a little bit of something going on. But welcome to Chance's Chat. This is for entertainment purposes only. It also may not be. Here's Chance.
Guys, it's been a crazy week for everybody. I know Brian and I have been in constant communication. Wyatt and I have been emailing back and forth. Wyatt's got some incredible information on everything that's been. We're going to get you caught up to date on what's going on, okay? And pre-show we were having Wyatt and I were talking about how many phone calls we both got because of misinformation out on the web, and it's driving me nuts. I mean, it is. These people are just driving me nuts, and you know, I was sent a court case. I was sent a court case today, and I'm supposed to help the guy, but he's done okay, but he doesn't really know what he's doing. And I said, yeah, I'm going to have to write, you know, some demands to the court, and it needs to be put into his case. But, you know, I don't work for nothing, so, you know, there we are. We're stuck. I got all the case things, and you know, I just don't work for nothing anymore. Okay. I cannot afford to do it. I can't afford the time, and I cannot afford to have my energy taken advantage of by some intentional or unintentional succubus. Okay. And if you don't know what succubus is, look it up. Okay. Brian, thank you for bringing the word succubus back into my vocabulary. Oh, we've had, I'm going to tell you, you got to laugh. You got to laugh at all the crap that's going on because, and the other thing is, we got to really watch what words we say, because the reason we got taken down last week was because AI is monitoring YouTube algorithm. So I know what we said. I know what I said. I was the one that was responsible for it, but what I should have said was, England swings like a pendulum do. Bobby's on bicycle 2x2. That's what I should have said instead of what I said. And that's what took us down, okay? Oh, and by the way, a darling of mine, sweetheart that I just absolutely love, is still alive. And do you remember the lady that recorded Downtown? Do you remember that, Doc?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Petula Clark.
Petula Clark is still alive at 92 years old.
Wow.
And she's still touring. Okay? So when I found that out this week, it really raised me up, you know, and I saw a picture of her, and she's elderly and everything. But I'm just hoping she gets into the med bed because, man, she put out some good music. I mean, she was way ahead of her time. And the people that wrote songs for her were just incredible. One of my favorite songs that she did was I Know a Place. And it was real fast-paced, and it really didn't have much dynamics into it. But it's really a very well-written song, but it's all about going to a place like the Cellar in England. So that's what she was singing about. I know a place where we can go. And it was really, if you get a chance to revisit Petula Clark. Very well ahead of the norm, okay? And somebody that if she was a young lady today, she'd make them all look bad, okay? Now, guys, Wyatt and I have been emailing back and forth, and there's a lot going on, and we are so privileged to have Wyatt on our team because he is like the Australian Edward R. Murrow. Okay, the trusted voice of Australia, and yes, Petula Clark does rock. But we are so privileged to have him, and he's kept up with what's going on in the movie. And before I turn it over to him, what I want you to do is I want you to realize one thing, okay? I was listening to Ben Fulford today, 2 different videos, okay? I think he tries his best. And his life may be in jeopardy, okay? But I'm going to tell you what, he hit on a few points in the last 2 videos that I watched with him, and I'm telling you what, he's completely out of touch. His scope of vision is like this. He's going through life with blinders on. He only sees what the blinders allow him to see, okay? Because when he starts talking about galactics and interdimensional stuff, the guy doesn't have a clue, okay? So he's better off just to keep talking about his geopolitical stuff. Whether his life's in peril, I hope not. I hope not. Elaine, I saw your name flash up there. Elaine, your currency is in transit to my house. So as soon as I get it, I will put it all in a nice envelope, send it to you with a gifting receipt, okay? Because I purchased it all in my name. If anybody that's on our Telegram page knows what I'm talking about. It's part of the business that we need to do. But listen, we got some spiritual stuff, some very good stuff from Fascinating Brian tonight. And I am actually going to do my own Fascinating Brian type segment after he speaks. So you gotta listen to this, because this is a first for me. Okay. Because I've been so influenced by him, and I got this in the email today, and I thought, oh man, this is like something that come out of Fascinating Brian's mouth. And so I got to say this. I got to do my little spiel tonight. So we're going to start off the evening with Wyatt, and we'll not interrupt you, because he's got, ladies and gentlemen, you ready for this? 48 points of information that I'm sure goes one into another. So we're going to let him do his thing, and then we're going to have Fascinating Brian come on, okay? So hang tight with us, guys. We got a lot of information coming out this show, okay? And before I turn it over to Wyatt, remember, if you want any stem cell patches, you've got to contact me direct at chancemusic@yahoo.com. You got to send me an email. Same way with Doc Wiedemann's minerals and vitamins and longevity products, okay? Send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com, and I will forward your email. But please put in your phone number so they can call you, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, here is Wyatt.
You're muted. You're muted, Wyatt.
Okay, so thanks, Chance. So I'm going to do a quick recap of what happened last week insofar as the intel, because some of these things have not played out yet. Gold is still on the rise. Bitcoin's taking a dive. The stock market is heading down in certain areas, and it appears to be reasonably stable. That is changing at the present moment because of what's happening with Fort Knox, which I'll get into shortly. Silver is steady, but it is expected to skyrocket, okay? Very, very soon. According to my source, the Black Swan event will trigger the EBS, okay? MSM, mass arrests, and the mass arrests will be televised. The med beds are set and ready to roll out to the public. They've just got to be released. That will probably follow after the RV occurs and whatnot like that. Currently, the med beds are being used on military alliance personnel who have been in the tunnels rescuing children, and the children who have been rescued are being treated on those med beds right now. The MSM will attempt to discredit the medbed technology because they're in the pockets. They're in the pockets of big pharma, big med, and whatnot like that. But the thing is, we aren't listening to the mainstream media anymore because we've had enough of their lies. So that's not going to work real well for them. Now, we all know that people from around the world are being paid into their QFS accounts already. Different countries, right? They're just doing it in slow sort of rollout with that, but it's not the main payout that's coming as yet. But these people are being paid secretly. They're testing, and they're being used as a test, basically, so that to make sure that the deep state and whatnot doesn't find out what's going on. All right, so on to this week's intel. BlackRock is gone. Okay, its executives have been arrested along with corrupt politicians, and they're going to face military tribunals. And this is this signals the end of the deep state money supply. Okay, military secret ops of the Global Trident Command Unit 77 through Project Phoenix is utilizing Starlink and has conducted ops over 20 countries, dismantling the corrupt power structures in Europe, South America, and beyond, and is in full swing right now. Nasara and Jasara is actually in effect right now. Okay, we just haven't seen it yet. As of February 12, the final assault on the deep state began, and it was the most aggressive phase of the operations against the deep state. And the deep state are in for an irreversible defeat. And I would say that has pretty much happened already, because some of this stuff that we get is a little bit old. We're 2 weeks behind. I'll get into that shortly. President Trump on January 20 authorized by 21 secret executive orders military tribunals at Gitmo and other places like Diego Garcia and whatnot like that. Gitmo is expected to be overflowing very, very soon. Okay, that there's talk about the Camp Echo, which is the 30,000 beds, the extra beds. That's where they're going to be put. Right now, there are certain illegal immigrants in those areas, but you know they've got to get them out so that they can bring the deep staters in. So they'll probably go back to some other countries where President Trump has been organising places where they can be, these illegal criminals can be held. Division X is a division of the military alliance that has been that is a hand-picked force, and it is operating in Operation Iron Shield. Now we remember President Trump was talking about getting an iron shield. That's what he was referring to. It is strategically decapitating the remaining deep state and cabals' influence over everything. Now, the 113 event that Derek Johnson and a number of other people have been talking about refers to the Law of War Manual. And this will signal the completion of Project Phoenix and X-Force's mission, and the 10 days of darkness for the people will begin, which means communication lockdown, which will mean, you know, the MSM is gone, and the 3-hour, the 8-hour movies that will be played, you know, 3 times a day. Now, my personal opinion is that I'm expecting this all to begin on the 4th of March. And I would say that that's going to occur immediately after the State of the Union address, right? So that's just my opinion, right? So take that with what you will. If it resonates with you, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great also. Democrat lawfare against President Trump and DOGE is not going well, because every time a case is heard, it's getting thrown out because, you know, it's DOGE has been used by an Obama executive order, right? That's started up the USDS. So if you need to go and look that up, and that's what they're operating under. It's been repurposed, so it's already there. So that the Democrats can't do anything. They know it. They're just trying to slow President Trump down, and you know they can't. Alex Soros, George Soros' son, is under investigation for his involvement in the assassination attempts on President Trump. So you can expect.
Okay, well, we can't have a long pause. So
I think he's lost internet connection.
yeah, I could definitely see that. Well, okay.
Yeah, no. Okay, and the whys in Australia rumor, Wyatt's going to disprove that. Let me explain to you what Wyatt and I reflected on while before the show. There's misinformation, intentional misinformation going on right now in Australia and New Zealand, saying that you won't be able to exchange your dong on that platform. That is wrong, okay? That is wrong. It is a lie. Wyatt's back. I'll let him explain to you when he gets to that part in his presentation. So go ahead, Wyatt.
No worries. The Mexican Senate approved United States military intervention with the cartels. Now, we know that from a week ago that they were already doing it. So the movie is now catching up to reality. Okay, so, and as I said, we're 2 weeks behind, and there's a reason for that, and I'll get into that shortly. DOGE has identified a $4.7 trillion black hole in the Treasury's budget. And it has exposed Social Security fraud with people, up to 250 years of age collecting Social Security. That means that those people were around when America, was founded. Last week, the gold transfers from England were occurring, and that gold is being returned to it. And that gold is being returned to its rightful owners, because all of the gold has a chemical DNA, which is assigned to each country. Okay, so it's being identified, it's being returned, it's being repatriated. The US banks are buying up gold. Why is that? They're buying it like nobody's business at the moment, and the price, and as I said, the price of silver is going to skyrocket. Now, Fort Knox is empty. It's been empty since 1974 when the last audit occurred. And this is the reason why DOGE wants to audit Fort Knox. Now, Elon Musk has said that he wants cameras going in with him when he does the walkthrough. I'm telling you now that that's going to be a huge boom when that happens. You're going to see there's no gold there. Now, there's a tunnel that connects JP Morgan headquarters and the vault in JP Morgan headquarters to Fort Knox. Why is that? I know. The deep state are in absolute panic about this particular audit more than any other, because they know what's coming with that. Rand Paul fought Janet Yellen for 10 years to get Fort Knox audited, but she blocked him every step of the way with the most ridiculous of excuses. But they can't stop this. Nothing can stop what's coming. Now, the question that you need to think about is, how can a currency be revalued if you don't know what or where your assets are? I'm talking gold, okay? So again, where's the gold? And remember what Q said: Q shall destroy the Fed, and so will no gold. Okay? That will affect the stock market, the Fed, everything. That's your black swan event right there. And nothing is going to stop what's coming when it comes to that. So if you're talking about RVs and whatnot like that, it cannot happen until the audit of the Fed has been made public. Okay? Now, everybody asks about what does it mean to watch the water? Well, water relates to currency and liquidity. Water is a liquid. Certain bodies of water have currency. All right, that's what it means. It's all about the money, and we need to follow the money. That's what DOGE is doing with all of their audits and everything. They're following the money. They're working out where it went and who's benefiting from it, because it's the largest money laundering scheme the world has ever seen. It's all fraud, corruption. These people are going to pay for all of this. I'm telling you. Now, Kash Patel is the 17th nominee of Trump's new administration. There's that number again. Patel will hit the ground running once he's confirmed, and I believe that was supposed to happen today. I believe he did get. I haven't seen the news, but I do believe he's been confirmed. I'm telling you, arrests are imminent. Comey, Ray, and others like Shifty Schiff, they're all in absolute panic over Kash Patel becoming head of the FBI. And not to mention that, the Hollywood celebrities who are on the Epstein and the P. Diddy lists. Okay. So it's going to bring this is where your mass arrest is going to be. And they're going to be televised. Now, immigration. The Iceman cometh. We're talking about Tom Homan. That dingbat AOC is finished. She has been referred for criminal investigation. Okay. Her arrest will be most likely public and it will be for obstruction of justice. Okay. And interfering for her interference with ICE. Now, think about ICE and the deportations when it comes to that. And the same with Ilhan Omar, who got effectively fired from every committee in the House because she was censured, right? And she and her brother/husband, they will be arrested for immigration fraud soon, I would say. And I would say that she will end up in Gitmo because what she's been doing is treason, because she's been representing Somalia instead of the United States. And she's on the record as saying that. So she's going to face military tribunal. Her husband, he'll get deported most likely. Valentine's Day saw 2 ICE agents being arrested, senior ICE agents, heads of regional offices being arrested for tipping off the mainstream media and AOC about the upcoming ICE raids. And they are now in Camp Echo in Guantanamo Bay amongst all the illegals that they love so much. Toyota Motor Company. A lot of the big companies like Toyota, they're gone, and it hasn't been made public, but they're gone. Rolex is gone. We just haven't seen it yet, but this is all part of the rejigging of everything. Other good news, Joy Behar got arrested at the airport trying to leave the country, and she's being sued by Trump's press secretary for millions for what she said on The View. So they can run, but they can't hide. Now, the thing is, we also have to remember all of the celebrities who said, we're going to leave the country if, Trump is elected. Ask yourself why they have not actually left. All right? It's because they can't. They're all under house arrest or in Gitmo. Okay, that's the real reason. We just haven't seen it yet. But these things are going to come out. Now, Trendy Agua and other criminal gangs like MS-13 and all those, they're now going to be declared. They are now going to be declared foreign terrorist organizations, and that will allow the full weight of the United States government to go against them. So they're definitely going to be doing there's a definite cleanup going on. Now, 24 previously unknown JFK files or documents were discovered by National Archives. Now, it's not known whether these documents were classified or not, but these are previously not known. So they're going to be reviewed and they will be part of the release. So I'm looking forward to seeing those files. Mind you, there's over 5 million pages. It's going to take a long time to read them. Everyone's QFS wallet is full of money, right? The money's there in the QFS account right now. It's just a case of us getting to the appointments so that we can go and get our quantum card, the Q card or the quantum finance card, right? And the Dragon family has ordered the release of funds. Now, that's coming from the Forbidden City, and that was a couple of days ago. But when you go for your appointment, you're not allowed to take your phone, and that is for security reasons. And they're advising you to go, once you do this, to go straight home and not do anything. You got to let what just happened sink in. And I've got to tell you, when you see the amounts of money that you're going to get, it's going to be a shock. DOGE is talking about having dividend checks, and along with President Trump. And they're touting the idea of a $5,000 payback, right? Because of all of the fraud. That's a repatriation payment, okay? Because it's all been stolen from you. The Ninth Circuit rejected President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. So I am sure that that's now going to go to the Supreme Court. And the Commerce Secretary says that the Trump administration is looking to abolish the IRS and place it with the ERS. That is a fact. It's going to happen. Now, there have been reports that Zelensky bought one of Hitler's retreats called the Eagle's Nest, or the Kelston House up in Bavaria. Now, it's been panned by fact checkers. The fact checkers are saying, oh, it's all, Russian disinformation. But where have we heard that before when it comes to Hunter Biden and his laptop, perhaps? But, we'll see about that. But if that turns out to be absolutely true, we know exactly where Zelensky's alliances lay. Now, mayhem with Mel. Mel put out information about the Wise account, and it is complete disinformation. Look, when you got your Wise account, even now, when the exchange rate changes or fluctuates, it changes and fluctuates in your Wise account, right? So it's not going to go anywhere. So, you'll just get more, you'll see that you have more Vietnamese dong in your account. It's all the mid-market rate, all right? This is when we're talking mid-market rates, we're talking the currency exchange, right? Wise uses that, which is real time, okay? It fluctuates minute to minute, because the market does this all the time, right? So, you can always see what your exchange rate is on Wise, right? Just learn to use the app, guys, okay? But yeah, this business about the Wise Australia and New Zealand not changing over when this revaluation occurs is garbage. It's absolute garbage. It's created panic. I've got numerous emails from people, numerous phone calls from people asking me, oh, but you said Wise was this, you said Wise was that. Don't panic. It's disinformation. I don't know where Mel got that information from, but I do think she needs to retract that what she said about that. It's just sad. And as Chance said, there's a lot of people who are just completely target fixated. They cannot see anything beyond these blinders, and it's a very, very sad situation to be in. And as Chance said, a lot of the gurus are like that. Unfortunately. So stop listening to the gurus about dates and rates, right? And stop listening to them talking about things that they don't, honestly don't know anything about. I mean, I don't know a lot. I know 1% of what's going on. Which 1% I know, I'm not sure of, right? But, when you do what I do and you're looking at this, like my SSP guy who gave me intel last week did not have anything for me this week. Right? This is all stuff that I've found out myself or some other people sent to me, and I've looked at it. Right? But this is why I'm giving a personal opinion that I believe that the 113 event, which is the Law of War manual, is going to happen on the 4th of March. It just makes logical sense to me for it to happen that way. But as I said, the RV cannot happen until this audit with the Fort Knox has been made public. All right. And I'm telling you now, this next 2 weeks, possibly 3, are going to be absolutely shocking to the core. And buckle up and hold on for dear life, because you're going to need to. But just understand, President Trump has only been in office not even 4 weeks yet. And you would think, from the amount of things that he has done and what has been happening so quickly, that he's been in there for a year. He's kept every single promise that he's made on the campaign trail. And now he's going into another phase where he's just expanding on that for the betterment of everybody. So, just hold on. I know it's hard, but we've got to be positive and be in our own energy and in a positive way, and don't allow negativity in. And what I have been doing since last week, I've been playing harp music 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day. And I'm telling you now, this house feels so much better. And just the energy is so much better. So do that. I think that's all for now, Chance, unless you have anything else you want to add.
I want to talk a little bit about the, just very briefly, touch on the arrest in New York City. You knew about that, right, Wyatt? There was over 70 city officials arrested for kickback scheme for public housing, and there's more coming. So landlords taking kickbacks from contractors, and it ends up just costing everybody more money. And so that's done. I want to talk about my friend in Texas. I want to send her congratulations. I'm not going to mention her name. She called me today and she said that she had received from her ex-husband's estate $28,000, and she had gotten the check then, and she wanted to know what to do. And she said she was going to put it all in the Wise account, and I said, I'm gonna tell you, this is what I told her. I said, if you want to put $3,000 or $4,000 in there, I see no problem with that. But and the other thing is, I said to her, is how much money do you really need? Because think about that. That's a lot. Okay, but let's go to the next step. And I said, but do not get a cashier's check for the balance. You get cash. You tell the bank they're going to want this. They're going to want a reason why you're taking out $22,000 out of the bank. Just tell them you're going to pay cash for a car, and you can get a better deal by having the cash right there, right then. And so I hope she did it. Okay, because we don't know. She wouldn't tell me. She didn't tell me her bank, but we don't know if that bank was compliant or not. So I'm going to say when, not if. When the stock market goes, I didn't say those words, so I'm watching my words, okay? When it goes like this, then she's going to have cash on hand to help her get through, and that's what everybody needs to do. If your bank is not compliant, get it out, because you could be sitting there with a really nice amount of money in a checkbook that you cannot access, and it may be gone. And it may be mirrored, or it may not be mirrored. We don't know. We think so, but we don't know. You got to go with what you know. Always cover your rear end, okay? I'm going to turn everything over to Fascinating Brian now, and then I'm going to do my own little Fascinating Brian bit. And Brian?
I'm listening.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm here. I'm present, and I'm going to. So first of all, before I start my segment, let's think about. I want to talk about the energy right now. So currently speaking, the energy keeps raising. So there is a lot of change in frequency. I would just throw it as in part of what you would call cosmic causality or whatever. I'll just put it that way. I'll just say it's just a cause that happens where creation, whether it's on a planet, whether it's out in space, there is a design for a greater cause for expression. And it has to start at a single point, which is really, really important to understand. Because even though you can look at your host planet as an organism, we're still tied to an even greater organism. So you're like, okay, well, what's that organism? I'm like, well, obviously, it's your galaxy. And then the next level of that happens to be more galaxies. Then your universe. It's alive. All of it is alive. And all of it will dictate, dependent on what perception, which I will call, and this is not my own idea, this is an idea I didn't really know about, but I knew it, but I didn't think of it in this type of terminology, and it's called vibrational dissonance. Okay, so vibrational dissonance is just your point of attention or ideas, and it doesn't necessarily have to be people ideas. It could be what ideas a planet dictates, a rock, a tree, grass, even weather, surprisingly enough. Natural, I'm talking about the organic elements that are uncompromised, sea creatures, and beyond that, and even cosmic formulas that we just don't know or understand, but that are ever present. So I do have a question for both you, Wyatt, and Chance. Can a third dimensional negative entity, right, a bad guy, can they actually cause harm to a higher vibrational dissonance, to like a 5D world? Can they do anything to it? Can they affect it? Is that a yes or no?
No.
Your Chance?
I'd say if the circumstances were right, I would say yes.
The answer is actually yes, and I'll explain to you why. All creation, it does not matter the amount of consciousness. It has to follow a rule of what you would call, it's like causality, right? It's a cause and effect. Everything brings its own matrix. You're like, what? So you're saying the shitbag druggie down the street? Sorry, I'm just giving you an idea, right?
Yeah.
He gets on a spaceship with his drugs. He goes to a land of prosperity. He's like, oh, Jesus, this is nice. This is great. And then he decides to get people hooked on his drugs that he brought with him, which would do what to a fifth dimensional frequency? They've never known that. They never experienced that. He was so unusual, likable, unique because he was the unknown element. And now that civilization drops in frequency. It plummets. So that is something I had to really think about and consider. And I was like, that is really powerful. That is such a powerful statement. I wouldn't think a low vibrational being could influence in such a way, in such a dynamic situation. But it does happen. But there is merit, and that is a part of the whole, or what the essence of source is. You have to understand that there is no such thing as limits or barriers. There really is no such thing as limits and barriers. It's just gradients of layers that always have a bleed over effect. It's always, it doesn't have to be interwoven nicely. When it's interwoven nicely, you can have a lot of nice things. It can just be like a blotch of paint, right? It looks all bubbly, looks messy, there's nothing uniformity, but it still works. It's ugly as hell. There's a lot of not nice things in that, but it still works. It still functions. So through this idea and all these hardships and understanding, and over what happened to me last week all the way up to this week, and how I've had to understand more of my higher self, including acknowledging a lot of my choices from my many incarnations, so to speak. So I'm not going to get graphic. I'm not going to explain details, because not everything needs to be known, is what I came to the conclusion on this game board. Not everyone needs to know true transparency of how we all lived, even in our past lives, because it will be very offsetting and it could be psychologically damaging. I have seen some horrendous things. I have picked some horrendous choices as someone who has walked, I would say, in between, right? So I've even picked some terrible things to happen to me in my past incarnations to balance out whatever things I did to play a dark worker. Because you have to be, is what I understand, of a certain consciousness to play and hold your metaphysical ideas, or hold your core of your energy, your consciousness. You had to be dynamically well versed in order to be both light and dark and play both light and dark. If I wasn't who I was, I can guarantee you I would have exited. Like, I would be suffering from psychological damage. I probably would have committed something to myself long ago. But because I'm not human, even though I do understand I do inhabit this human body, I understand that I intentionally put limitations on me. I put lots of spirit shackles on my etheric vessels, to keep me from being too invasive, to keep me from influencing in a way that could not necessarily be positive. So the lessons of these hardships is not everything has to be known. You don't need to know everything. You as a human cannot handle the load. That's the truth. You cannot. It would break you if you knew everything that happened over 1,000 years. You have to be like, your mind, you would have to be like Brainiac, literally, from DC Universe, the man who understands creation, creativity, but he also knows how to destroy. You have to be of something that is so consciously aware of the intricacies of everything, but also at the same time, you have to filter all the emotional side of things. You can't be invested in it. You can't be empathetic in any of it. You can only be analytical and logical in that sense. It would be too painful for the normal humans if you knew everything that took place on here. You just don't need to know everything. The best thing that I have found, and my guides tell me and encourage me to tell you, the populace, is if you feel something, you don't have to just go within. Going within is just one part of multiple processes, like maybe 4 or 5 that you need to do, right? What would be another process? You need to breathe. Take long, winded, deep breaths, exhale, relax. You need to be still. Still your mind, still the body. You don't need to move necessarily. You don't need to pace. You don't need to create tension. You need to relax, right? Maybe 4. Write it down. Nothing is more free than taking up a pen, putting it to paper, writing down how you feel. 5, answer your own question. If you answer your own question, do I need to worry about it? Do I need to think about it? Or is this a nothing burger? There's a lot of things you can do to get you over the coming hurdle. And I did say coming hurdle because March is going to be very different. I can feel it, energetically speaking, because the energy doesn't lie in energy dynamics. When there is this cosmic formula, as things raise, there's 2 things within the vibrational dissonance that happens. The positive side is it raises the frequency of those that are able to make the cut. The ones that are too sickly or too anchored into their own matrix, the lower, they will drop more and more and more as if they're on a hospital respirator. And then they exit. Those are the 2 formats that always happen when there is a change into some cosmic element where vibration rises. Many may make it, but many don't make it, but no one can stay in the teeter-totter. There is a rule. There is a rule within this energetic formula. There's a universal constant where energy always shifts no matter what. So you have to really truly analyze and think about you in a greater fashion. And just so you know, because I have these astral shackles, so I can blend in, so I can be human, I still get influenced by the dark perfectly, beautifully speaking. They do it with false light. They give false interpretations, false ideas, false ethics. I can't not tell you how amazing they are, even if it does make me angry, sometimes, transparently speaking. And I wish I could just slit their throats, but they do it so masterfully. I have nothing but respect, especially when I finally catch on. When I catch on, it is because of them that I grow more mentally stronger. I grow to the point where I am in a different type of preparedness. So now that I'm even more aware, I have had many sad moments. I have cried quite a bit because of the things. And even my dwelling was compromised. You wouldn't think. You're like, oh, I'd assume Brian would have the greatest defenses. No, I do. But it isn't perfect still, because if you share common ground, common space with other people that don't have or share the same ideas as you, and they're compromised by, let's say, alcohol or drugs. Their frequency drops, they become an open portal. They can have things bleed inside your dwelling. That is a clever way for astral entities to attack you. Just perfect example. I'm not going to say if it happened or didn't happen. But if you're someone who's in tune with the astral, you're going to recognize it. What's one way you'd be able to recognize it? If you have problems with that family member, you put their hand on them and they make you sick. If they make you sick, they make you nauseous, and you feel something is around them or near them or within their field, it's going to affect your field. And you will have to put up a thicker barrier. You have to recognize, and this is the sad truth, humans, and it's not just here. So you don't worry about it because you're not alone. This is like a lot of humans. I'm talking about Lyrians from the Pleiades and other star systems. They are always targeted by astral entities. They don't have the knowledge or the skills yet. They're pretty young. You can be 1 billion years young or several billion years young, and you can still be a kid, believe it or not. You still be a kid in creation. It's still pretty young, and not know anything about the astral and still being taken advantage by the astral. The way to break that is you incarnate in a race that's half astral and half physical. That means they get the best of both worlds. They can see it all. And then when you go back into being human again, assuming there are no humans like that, guess what you take? You take that DNA script with you. And you take the memories with you, especially if you are a higher density being reincarnated or cycled. So I'm one of those beings that is 50 in, but I have to do it differently here so I can understand it and navigate it without having the physical damage taken. So I found a clever way to navigate it here, but not everyone has. And that's why there's a lot of people that have so many problems with astral attacks or even have physical scars, scratches, or marks. It's important to know you the best. So moving forward, I would like to very much encourage everyone, try and understand your own vibrational dissonance. And with my hand, with the 5 fingers of what I said earlier, that is going to be your powerhouse of tools that you can use, especially next month. Because next month is possibly going to get a lot rockier. And I don't believe you may see it as a good thing, but it's in the end, I think you're going to realize it's garbage. Yes, it's a positive outcome, but when you look and you see your kids, especially if they're young men and women, and you've had disputes with them over the subtle nuances of each matrix idea, right, in programming that we all have, whether we're on the same page or whether we're on Democrat or Republic, you're going to see it's quite painful. It's not fun. And you're going to have to be the bigger person and be, how would I say, objective, but at the same time, give grace and subtle guidance. Subtle. You don't want to poke the bear, so to speak. You want to say, you don't want to say, I'm so sorry. You don't want to apologize. I'm going to warn you now, do not apologize, because it will make them feel worse. If anything, you should be a good listener above all else. And when you do speak, you just speak objectively, without emotion, I know it sounds cold, and then I'm sure that there are going to be many that will try and trap you in their language and say, why aren't you so empathetic with me? This has happened to me. This is your fault. And then you can just say, no one's at fault. You could just say, this is just how creation works. There is a constant in everything. That's all you have to say. It's just energy can never stay contained. It's a powerful statement, but it's also very true. It's a very true statement. Nothing can truly ever be contained. Positive, negative, you can't contain it. There's no container for it. It's limitless. And this is a part of why we decided to be here to experience and express and see its true value. So once you recognize and you see it, many of you are going to propel differently. You're going to see a greater change in you. But I'm only talking to those that are doing the work. It takes work. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. We appreciate your input, and I want to let everybody know that if you're a meat and potatoes guy, like I was 15 years ago, everything was black and white. Okay, if I listened to Brian tonight, and I was a meat and potatoes guy from 15 years ago, I wouldn't have understood another one single thing that he said. But I have awakened to different realms, to different possibilities, to different vibrations and frequencies. And that's why I'm able to follow Brian, okay? Rachel said it good right there. Understand, knows oneself, know oneself. And I know who I am, okay? And for people that don't understand Brian, you really don't, if you don't know yourself, if you can't understand Brian. When your vibrations get higher, then you're going to be able to look back on these shows and you're going to say, what Brian was saying is actually going to resonate with you. So what you need to do is open your mind, get out of your mind and get into your heart. You know who that came from? That came from Kent. And it's very wise words. Get out of your mind, get into your heart. And then you can understand what the universe is actually about. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because Wyatt would like to address the audits and the crash. So go ahead, Wyatt.
Yeah, okay. So the audits that DOGE are doing. Now, I want first you to understand that DOGE has been set up for 2 years. These audits are going to go through every single government department, every single one of them, and every single agency. And that's going to go on for 2 years. And I'll bet my backside that that DOGE will continue on beyond 2 years. It will be just part of the furniture of the government agencies because they're going to have to keep tabs on it when this all goes down. Now, insofar as the crash is concerned, it's going to happen like this. It's not going to play out over a series of days or hours or a minute, or whatever. It's going to be instant. And that's because the gold at Fort Knox, that's the Fort Knox starter kit right there. Right? There's no gold there. Hasn't been since 1974. So when that goes, when they find out, when Musk walks through there with the television cameras and they see the vaults empty, guess what? The stock market's just going to go like that. It's finished, zero. And so's the Fed. Okay. So that's it completely at that point. So that's all, Chance.
Thank you, Wyatt. You know, I'm reminded about 10 years ago when Citizens National Bank over in Macomb, Illinois, went into receivership to another bank, and they actually failed because they had more loans out than what they had money coming back in. And I knew my aunt had investments through that bank, and she was traveling in Europe at the time. I was not able to get a hold of her, so I called her daughter, my cousin Joan, who I believe is still alive. She's really up there. She's really up there in age, and because she was a lot older than me when I was a teenager. She was 35 when I was 16. So, Brian, you're gonna cut your hair someday and be a normal person. Okay, Joni. Anyway, she said, Brian, banks don't fail.
Like lounge singers?
Banks don't fail, Brian.
Like lounge singers?
Okay. Think about that. That was 10 years ago before I was even awake. Okay. And I told her and she didn't believe me. Okay. So if you're one of those people that think banks don't fail, we got 2 to 10 banks a week failing.
Yeah, dinner singers.
Okay. Anyway, I want to read this thing. Let me pull it up on my phone here for a minute. This is my bread and butter version of Brian's vibrational energy. And this was sent to me today by the place called thelittleshine.com. You might want to look that up. Brutal life lessons that no one will teach you. Number 1, life doesn't care about your emotions. The world keeps moving forward regardless of your success or failure. It's not your responsibility to show up yourself. Okay? Where did it go? I just lost it. Oh, it just disappeared. Oh. Okay, that was the first part. Let me get the second part up here. Holy cow. I hate it when I didn't even touch the phone. And there it is. Okay. Okay. Number 2, no one is coming to your rescue. Pay attention to this, people with legal problems. I'm not going to put on my cape for you. No one is coming to your rescue. Others can offer support, but ultimately the responsibility for your life and your life choices lie with you. Nobody else is responsible. You are replaceable, even to those closest to you. Loyalty is rare, and no one owes you forever. Appreciate those who show up for you, but don't rely on them without question. Remember that. The loudest critics are often the quietest achievers. Many people who criticize you do so to deflect attention from their own failures. I like that a lot. That relates to me. Hard work alone will not lead to success. Okay, for all you people that are obsessed with work, this is important. You can put in endless hours, but if you're working on the wrong things, you'll make no progress. Number 6 is people judge you by results, not intentions. Plans don't count if you can't follow through. If it's your outcomes that matter, not your effort. Time is your greatest adversary. Every day wasted is a day you'll never get back. Stop waiting for the perfect time to begin. Comfort is a trap. Once you settle for good enough, growth stops. True progress requires comfort. And the only true competition is yourself. Focus on your own progress rather than comparing yourself to others. And the last one is, I can't read it. Success is, what does it say? It's solitary path. Success is a solitary path. As you rise, fewer people will understand your journey. not everyone will celebrate your victories because they're not on the same vibration as you. Okay? If you want to take the time to go to Chance McFadden Facebook page, I've got this posted there. And I will put it on my Telegram page. If you need a link to the Telegram page and you didn't write it down off this, then I suggest you send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com, and I will send you a link, a copy and paste link to the private Telegram group. There is a Chance McFadden page on there. That is a fake page. And he's trying to push crypto and trying to set you up with your quantum financial account. That is fraud. That is fraudulent. That is not me. I don't believe in crypto. I believe that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Okay? And for all you people that have turned your currencies into some other body group or something else, okay, I'm going to say it again. I said it I'm going to say it again, and I'm sorry if it insults anybody, but you're a special kind of stupid. Okay? Just very special, because there's nobody that's going to... Yeah.
Just say that's an opinion. But there's one more important thing that needs to be on the list.
Okay.
That I'd like to encourage everyone else.
Okay.
Keep moving forward.
Even if it's in baby steps.
Yes. Keep moving forward.
Yes.
Sorry.
Even if it's right. Even if you got to crawl on your hands and knees, keep moving forward. Yes, I agree, Brian. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, don't revisit the past, because it's only wasting your time.
Yes. Forward is a must.
Very quickly, just want to say that Australia and New Zealand are in the process of becoming states of the United States. Not completed yet, but New Zealand will be a separate state to Australia. Okay, it's all happening. As I said previously, the monarchists who support, the crown, they're losing their minds over this, because they cannot get their heads around the fact that England does not have a constitution. Not a lot of people don't know that. Right? There's no constitution. They rely on the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, and other statutes and acts, but there's no formalised constitution. Now, when they passed the Australian Constitution in the English Parliament, they couldn't, because a parliament operates, or a government operates, under a constitution, a formalised constitution. There is only a handful of countries in the world that have a formalised constitution. And this is allowing partly President Trump to do what he's doing insofar as making Australia, New Zealand, Greenland, possibly even Iceland, Canada, all of that to become part of the United States. But, so when you think about it, the fraud that's been going on insofar as that, going all the way back to 1302 with the Declaration of Arbroath of Scotland, even back then, England did not have a constitution. The Declaration of Arbroath is a declaration of its independence, and therefore the beginnings of a constitution. So there you go. So yes, it's good news. Don't worry. We'll get there. It will come very soon. Very soon.
Awesome. Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to go ahead and read the intake officer's intel now, because we're still going to have to discuss some other things that are going on. But here's the intel. I'm going to play it. Let's see. I'm going to say it in current time instead of past time. Patel has been sworn in. Asset-backed Sunday with the announcement on Monday. That means Trump's going to make an announcement of asset backed. Okay. And then at 12 o'clock today, 12:50 today, the bank advised the president of Iraq has signed off on the budget amendment. So now we're just waiting on publication in the Gazette. And I know that's true. I'll tell you why. It has something to do with the pay for the government employees. If they get paid on Sunday, if they announce the RV on Sunday, they don't get their full paycheck. So they're going to have to do it on Saturday so that the Iraqi employees. Trudeau is I gotta use the right word here. He's not the man he used to be. Isn't there a song like that? He's not the man he used to be. Okay.
Half the man he used to be.
Yeah, he's half the man he used to be. There you go. Thanks, son. I appreciate that. And by the way, if you see this patch on my neck, I have a couple of them here. I usually wear them up here, but I take them off for the show and put them. Otherwise, I wear them up here. And that's the X39 and the X49 patches that I put up there. And the reason is we need DOGE in every state, and it's coming. I'm just going to tell you that it is coming to every state. I put the 39 here and the 49 here. And the reason is I'm slowly returning the elasticity to my skin. And so gravity won't be pulling my face down. Okay. So hopefully in, 3 or 4 months, you'll see me more like this instead of the falling face,
What, you
So
don't want jowls?
Huh? No, I don't want no jowls. No, just say no to jowls. No. But it's helped my head cold, and it's helped my sinuses. And so when you put them up here, and it shows a bunch of benefits. Okay, there's a bunch of benefits, but it's different for every person because everybody's vibration and frequency is different. So
I know the real reason why you got the patches on your neck there.
What is that?
Cover up the holes from the bolts.
Oh yeah. I got it. Everybody see. When I was on the table, Doc Frankenstein.
Well, you opened yourself up for that. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. It's fine. I can take it. I can take it. I'm tough. I want to tell you guys what I want you not to do. Okay, I want you not to be scared. Okay, this is all in the highest power of all. Everything is in the highest power.
Do you see
thank you, Roy. I appreciate that. I'm 72. I'm 72. But anyway, how can you be asset back when there's no gold in Fort Knox? Because the other gold has been provided for the RV by the Chinese elders. And it's the biblical gold. Remind me, the biblical gold of
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain, that's right. And believe me, and it's also the gold from the Vatican, and that was in the tunnels and everything, because we cleaned all that stuff out. All that stuff is sitting not in Fort Knox. It is sitting somewhere else. I know where it's at. I can't talk about it, but there is some gold in the Reno in the Indian reservation in Reno. That's a fact. But the majority of it is being held for the United States under guard by U.S. troops in a friendly country, okay? Because they knew this Fort Knox thing was going down, okay? So you don't have to worry about having enough gold and assets to cover the RV. You don't have to worry about it because they've planned this thing out 50 years ago. And you don't think that when Georgie Boy Senior. Yeah, Georgie Boy Senior. Hey, I did that pretty good, didn't I? Georgie Boy Senior kicked the bucket that they didn't snag all his assets, and they didn't. And when Arkansas Bill and his lovely lady went like this at Gitmo, okay, you don't think that their assets weren't grabbed? Everybody who's been sentenced to a very distasteful experience in Gitmo has had their assets seized. Okay,
They will all own nothing and be happy.
that's exactly right. They must have been talking about themselves because they weren't sure talking about us.
That's right. And I'll tell you something else. All these houses.
So astute. I love that.
And I'll tell you something else. All these houses that are up for sale in Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the prices up there, right?
Yeah.
That's all seizure of assets. They're showing us.
Yeah.
That's
But here's the thing.
Assets.
Do you know that? Listen, I know some facts about that. Okay. I learned some facts about it from my real estate contact in California. 92% of the houses that are for sale in Washington, D.C. Are you ready for this? Are owned by Democrats. Ooh, 92%. Yeah. Oh my God. When I heard that, when he told me that, I just about fell over. And you know what's going to happen is they're going eventually it's all going to be underground anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to be underground anyway. And I'm surprised that Trump is, I got to be careful, the trumpet guy. I'm surprised that the trumpet guy is allowing the big White House to be occupied in any kind of position of authority. But maybe it's part of the transitional phase.
Yeah,
okay?
it's optics. Yeah, it's all optics.
Yeah, and the other thing about if you listen to Fulford, that came up on the screen. If you listen to Fulford, you're gonna know that he's pretty one dimensional. He's pretty. I'm sorry, this is just the way my voice is. Wyatt, if you could turn your mic up just a little bit. Yes, Joey is right. The gold under the Vatican was 150 miles long, 60 meters wide, and 30 meters high. 3,500 homes for sale in D.C. You are absolutely right, Joey. You got your facts right. Okay, and out of those 3,500 homes, 92% are Dems. Okay, the rest of the intel, hold on to your pants because we're going to be crossing the finish line anytime between tomorrow and the 4th. And it could be any time. But you've got to be aware of what Wyatt told you about the stock market. And I think it can literally be any time. But you've got to remember one thing. I've been telling you it's been slow rollout for a long time. In fact, they've been rolling out for 4.5 months. But let me explain something to you. I told you guys this before. I've got 4 friends. 2 of them are actually named Jennifer, and 2 of them are actually from Texas. It's not the Jen that you and I know, Brian. It's another Jen. The one I told you about that I've told on this show many times. She's having car problems, and her car was a piece of crap and all that stuff. And I sent her some gas money a couple times, and she finally got into the bank because her father was a big deal at the bank for years and years, a good customer. And she got her. This is interesting. So you need to listen to this because this is going to have something to do with you too. Okay. But she's out, her NDA is over. Okay. She was on a 30-day NDA. She told me the rate that she got. And you don't know who I'm talking about, so I can talk about the rate. And that was $2.91. She got lowballed. Okay. She talked to me the other day. We text back and forth. And she talked to me the other day and she says, guess what? You were right. She says, I'm getting called back into the bank. They did some accounting wrong. I have more money coming. I said, good for her. Good for her. Okay.
It's part of the testing phase. It was inevitable. Yes. I mean, you people don't really understand. You can think of this as a universal guinea pig project. This is all testing phases. And you're the test subject. And even as I said in the previous episode, you really don't know what you're walking into. I'm sorry to say this. We're not going to necessarily recap, but they are going to have special ideas, machinery that's going to know your intentions. Okay? You're not going to be able to fake it to make it. You have to be something greater than what you are. So we're not doing this to scare you. We're actually trying to get you to be something more, an idea that you as the human have never discovered as a potential, especially. And I just find it phenomenal because we're very close to being spacefaring, so to speak, where we can travel. I don't think people really have come to that realization yet. You just saw that Star Trek symbol on Space Force. That's anchored in energy. Where do you think we're all going? But you have to be a different human than currently what you are. So what does that mean? That means you have to see beyond the surface level now. Oh, wow, that's a new idea. You have to see beyond the surface level of what you're looking down here. You need to start looking up and thinking what it's like to be somebody with a more elevated culture that looks like you. You haven't met them yet, but you're going to meet many of them. There's so many more humans out there. You're going to realize a lot of it down here, irrelevant as time moves on.
And Brian, and a lot of people who are higher vibration, and there's a lot of us out there. But for those that have higher vibration, what you're going to be surprised with something. After you come out of the med bed, your higher vibrations are going to be amplified, and it's kind of like that Limitless movie, where they took that drug and used all your brain and everything. That's kind of what's going to happen to the higher vibration people, and we will actually be in 5D ahead of the norm because we have experiences that we have to go through. Now, I really do think this. So, I'm definitely an outside of the box thinker, but I definitely think that, with my empathy for animals and horses and goats and everything, all kind of animal life, with my empathy. I'm not too good with reptiles. Brian knows that, but I'll try to be in the future. But I think my superpower might be able to understand, maybe even communicate with other life forms, and animals are right here with us. And I also think my vibrations are going to be raised so high that I'm not going to be able to eat steak anymore. I think I'll probably end up going veggie because
Yeah, right.
we've seen so many smart, intelligent animals. It almost, in my concept, it just seems not right to consume them. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I know. I love me a steak. I get it. But here's the thing. Um, I'm reminded. I'm reminded of a video, and it's on YouTube. You can go watch it. There was a truckload of cows that were getting ready to. This is a video on YouTube. There's truckload of cows getting ready to take to market. Okay, they're going to be processed. Somebody stepped in and purchased all the cows and turned them loose on his land. The cows knew they were headed towards the end, and when they departed and were put out into the field, they danced for joy. They bucked like a horse. They were ecstatic. They get to live their life. So guys, when I saw something like that, who knows what other level of intelligence a chicken has, a horse has, a goat. We already know seals and dolphins and everything have. I know it's going to be hard, but then again, we've got the Star Trek replicators coming. We've got Oh yeah, that was good about Joyce Bearhart. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I just actually read that when I was going into the bedroom, and I closed the bedroom door and I danced a little jig. Yeah. I do that a lot when I read something like that.
That's the only time Joy Behar has brought joy to anybody.
Well, but we all know that Whoopi is not Whoopi anymore, and Whoopi is something else, and I don't know, maybe
Or
Jabba the
somewhere else.
Hutt. Or Jabba the Hutt. She looks more like Jabba the Hutt, Hey,
Yeah, she does.
do me a favor and let's introduce Whoopi to to Jenny Craig.
Yeah, my dad's doing really well. The patches are working brilliantly for him. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Who's to know that replicator food isn't real food? Maybe we just got to develop a taste for it. But
No, it's real food. It's made up of the same atomic structures as the food you're eating right now.
Right.
The way it works is that if you think about it from like the source of energy, everything has a code and a flavor text or a text.
Yes.
So what they do is that they just pull the energy from the ether and reconstruct the atoms and condense it in matter, and there you go. And it could be raw, it could be cooked, it doesn't matter. The question is, the nutrients doesn't necessarily equate in its original value, because again, these machines aren't perfect. So you always have to recalibrate them, or you have to program exactly what you need, right? Like genetically and technically speaking, like the human body, because we produce a specific enzyme, we can't really give up meat. We can't, because then we have to take a supplement. It's just because of the how our human bodies work in this density. But once you kind of elevate and shift, then we'll be able to get it more differently and possibly organically, and it could be in other things, right? It doesn't necessarily mean we would have to get it from a steak. We could probably get the enzyme from, who knows, a plant, because again, we're going to be very we're on our way. I'm not going to say we're going to be very advanced. We're on our way to becoming more advanced, as well as sharing in what you would call galactic economics. You're like, galactic economics? What do you mean by that? More variety of foods, right? I mean, we have shipping here on planet. You don't think there's shipping in space?
Yeah.
There's going to
We
be.
do know, but the thing is, we do know the nutritional value of certain foods, right? And that would be already programmed into the replicator machine.
Yes.
Right. Well, we lost Wyatt again, so I guess we're come to the point in the evening. Wyatt will come back on here in just a minute. Yeah, the intel's finished. You just got to listen to the. You're gonna have to listen to the replay. I'm not gonna repeat it again. It was ongoing for about 20 minutes. You just got to listen, okay? If you want to hear, hey, you're going to the bank tomorrow, that's not going to come out of my mouth, okay? Okay, and I'm going to say this one more time. I don't know everything. I'm not entitled to know everything. So please don't think you're entitled to know everything. We'll give you the most that we can give you as we can give it to you, but we cannot. There's certain things I can't say, okay? And I'm way down on the totem pole, guys, okay? And so what I want to do right now is, while we're waiting for Wyatt to come back in, I want to do final thoughts with Doc G. Doc, you've been listening a lot tonight and not talking. So what are your final thoughts? And go ahead and feel free to mention the websites too.
Yeah, two things. First of all, the one thing that I want to mention is people keep complaining about the messages coming up on the screen. The messages have to come up on the screen. So number one, the host can see what the question is. And if they don't see it, it shows. And not only that, for the other viewers, if that bothers you, if you really have a hard time with that, I don't know what else to do, because I have to put the messages up there. So that's one thing. Second thing is, anybody that's been on this podcast or whatever has been banned, you don't have to worry about them at all. We're not going to see them again, ever, probably. And they may come in as somebody else, but that I'll take care of that. I'll see their algorithm and I'll get rid of them, because we don't want nothing negative on this show. So let me just say this. Yeah, I'm not feeling good. I did this show out of courtesy for Chance, Wyatt, and Fascinating Brian, because it's a commitment. And my commitment to you guys is always to try to get the information out there any way we can. And the best way I can is with these guys. That's the best way I can. So that's why I gave up my time tonight to do this. So let me just say about the websites. We are working on several different websites right now. And Chance has a website. We're going to redo his very soon as well. But you can contact me. You can contact Chance anytime at chance@yahoo.com.
Chance Music.
chancemusic@yahoo.com, right? And then ask him, say, I want to do a website. Just have a clue what you want, what you're looking for. Don't expect us to know. We can guide you, we can help you, but we can't do it for you. We can do it for you if you want to do something. Just have an idea. That's all I say. But as far as everything else goes, guys, I wish everybody luck. I see a lot of changes and things are amazing that are happening every day in our lives. So just keep on believing, like Brian said, and Chance, keep on believing whatever you want to believe. But I believe things are going to change very soon. They're going to happen, and I see it happening. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you, Doc. Fascinating Brian, what's your final thoughts for tonight?
So first of all, my recommendation to those that don't like the text, do what I do. I like closing my eyes and just listening to what Wyatt has to say. You don't need to see anything. It's better to shut off one sensory so you can absorb the information and you could kind of be clear and partially empty. It's a good tool. It's a good thing to do. It's something that many need to use. It'll help you recalibrate and give you a greater focus with just this, so you can better read the information. Secondly, the information I gave earlier, those are from my guides. And one of the guides that I talk to often is Big Mike. up there. And many of you know who that Big Mike is. He's got some pretty powerful wings. Okay? That's part of the message. I'm not joking. You all have a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time. I'm not speaking that. Okay? That's what he's saying through me. A lot of work, short amount of time. Navigate, leave your emotions as much as possible out of the coming dynamics, especially next month. Okay? Ground as much as possible and just breathe and relax. That's it.
Wyatt's not here. I guess he's not coming back on. He's having internet problems. So we'll just ask you to watch the replay of the show and listen to his intel again. He works very hard all week on getting you the updates of what's going on in the movie and the reality that we are living in at the moment. Okay. My final thoughts for tonight are this. Okay. If you want a website, we're going to design you a website for $250. Okay. You better have your domain name and you better have your content ready. Okay. So, and if you want to see what it could look like, then go to chancemcfadden.com. Okay. I'm very happy with the site, but we do have to do some tweaking on it. And when the 800 numbers come out, I will put the 800 numbers on the website. Doc and I will do that immediately. Now, I want to let you know, Brother Dave, Dr. Brian, and quite a small number of people who are keeping me and this show going are highly appreciated. The rest of you, I understand tough times, but if you can make a love donation to Cash App McFadden, $McFadden Chance, or if you need the RV protocol papers, $McFadden Chance, $50, or if you want to send some funds by wise.com, then put in my email address, chancemusic@yahoo.com on your Wise and send a love offering, or if you want to order the RV protocol papers. The RV protocol papers do work overseas. One thing that's really in my heart tonight that I really want to talk about at this ending here, and welcome back, Wyatt. One thing I really want to talk about is the trusts. Okay, if you need a revocable or irrevocable trust, right now Raymond's making some incredible deals on a revocable or irrevocable trust because we are getting to the end. Now, there's a lady on the internet that says you don't need the trusts. I'm not believing that. But what if I'm right and you go in there without a trust and you get a lower rate? Who cost you that money? That would be that other lady she comes on my site and she spams that. You don't need a trust, blah, 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 blah. Okay. As far as I know, it's a requirement. Now, if you get the RV protocol papers, there's a free trust in there. But if you want a trust with teeth, irrevocable or revocable or both, then get a hold of me at chancemusic@yahoo.com. I will turn you over to Raymond. Okay. And he will get you a super deal on these very effective trusts with teeth. One other thing I want to talk about real quick is Maria Janet still is doing the Express Trust. If you are having IRS issues, if you are having legal issues, if you are having property grab issues, if you're having property tax issues, the Express Trust is $2,500. That's half of what anybody else charges for an Express Trust. Get a hold of Maria Janet through me, chancemusic@yahoo.com. I will, and make sure you put your phone numbers in because these people are going to be calling you. And we will get you what you need to defend yourself. Now, the important thing you remember about the Express Trust is Maria Janet just created her own financial instrument. I can't tell you how much she just created, but she just created money for herself by having an Express Trust, and it was way over $10,000. Okay, way over. Okay, I can't tell you the exact figure, but once you get the Express Trust, you know how it works. That she will teach you what paperwork you have to do, and we will get you rocking and rolling in that direction. And it will also put a stop to this nonsense that's going on in some of these courts. And it's still the nonsense in the court's still going to be going on until all these administrators and bar people go to their final reward at Guantanamo Bay. Did I dance around that pretty good?
Works. It works.
I danced around that pretty good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. AI, I hope you like that language. Anyway, guys, only thing I want you to do is, like, if you have a hard time understanding Fascinating Brian, what you got to do is what Kent always said. Get out of your head, get into your heart. Get into this, because all we need is love. That's all we need. If you've got love in your heart for your animals, for your people, for the lady that across the street and you don't even know her, that's all you need, because your vibrations are going to raise. Love will raise your vibrations every time. And now, Wyatt, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
All right. Well, I'm having some connection issues at the present moment, so I do apologise for this being a little bit jerky. And that's something that we are going to experience more of in the coming weeks. But simply, get out of your mind, out of your head, and just do what you've got to do to prepare yourself for the appointments come. You can put forward without even trying. And my suggestion is to listen to harp music. Okay, it's healing, it's calming, it just works wonderfully. It's better than going to a psychologist and having to talk about your problems. It just helps you resolve all your problems all by yourself and without even trying. So that's it. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you, Chance.
Absolutely. I appreciate everybody coming. And Doc G has one other thing he wants to add.
Two more things. One is, if this show is gone completely from YouTube, okay, and you can't find it anywhere, reach out to Chance, give him your email, and I'll send you a version where you can look at it, okay? And then you can save it on your hard drive. Two is, we want to thank the girl that won the guitar that we auctioned off. You want to give her a name?
Was Jennifer Peace.
Right. Thank you, Jennifer. We just sent it to you. We hope you enjoy it. And if not, just hang it on your wall.
And there's a lady out on the west somewhere. I can't remember her name, but hers has been sent to her. I think hers went out Monday. So they should be both receiving the guitars real quickly here.
Okay.
So thank you very much. And if you guys like that guitar auction deal, then we might do it again in a couple weeks. Okay, depending on what's going on in the world. I love you guys. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you all tuning in. And we're going to have another great show next week. And it just seems like the shows get better and better. And the input that we get from the audience is just phenomenal. And some people are really awake and they see the big picture, and we like seeing their comments come up on the screen. So thank you all. Wyatt's out again, so I guess we're going to sign off and listen. All you need is love, guys. That's all you need. Okay. That's all you need is love. I love you, Fascinating Brian. I love you, Doc G. I love you.
I love you both.
Love you, Wyatt. I love all you guys and all the people that we've had on the show. I love them all. Okay, they're all very special people in their own very special way, and I love the audience. So thank you very much,
Thank
and
you,
we will
audience.
see you next week right here on HamiltonRadio.net.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Blessings and have a good night.
Okay, we are